Hello and welcome to this very special live on NDTV. We have with us Abhishek Nair, we have with us Ashok Malhotra, former India cricketers, and today it is India versus Bangladesh. And not a lot of people are talking about this, so we thought we should be talking about this particular match. But before we talk about India versus Bangladesh and the rest of the matches that have happened over the last 2 days, few days, I also want to start by giving my tribute to David Johnson, who passed away at the age of 52 years, tragically. He played 2 test matches, picked up 3 wickets for India. In those 3 wickets, he picked the wicket of Herschel Gibbs, Michael Slater, and Brian McMillan. In domestic cricket, he had 125 scalps in 39 first-class appearances, and it is said that he once clocked 157.8 kilometers per hour. So this is us at NDTV remembering him and his contribution to Indian cricket. Gentlemen, let's talk about the World Cup. Let's talk about India versus Bangladesh. But before we talk about that, I also want to talk about West Indies. I also want to talk about South Africa, especially West Indies, because not a lot of people are talking about West Indies at this point of time. And we were just having a conversation with Abhishek regarding West Indies, and you said, Abhishek, that this is probably their best team, best combination at the moment.
I think what Abhishek said is spot on, and I think Shai Hope joining them is a blessing in disguise. I know Brendan King got injured, but it's blessing in disguise. The kind of player he is. He's a technically correct player. He's not a slogger. He doesn't use the power. He uses the timing of the ball, and that gives them an edge. He's one guy who can hold one end up, and he can play some big shots like he showed against US of A. So definitely a wonderful team as of now. But the only thing is that they have to beat South Africa, which is a team which is beating everybody. They first time I've seen they are snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, which was never the case. They were supposed to be chokers, but they're not choking as of now. They're somehow gelling well together, and they're doing what we never thought they can do. So West Indies has their job cut out. If they have to qualify, they have to beat South Africa, because England has beaten West Indies, South Africa has beaten England. So now West Indies will have to beat South Africa to be in the race.
That is true. Like Shopaji said, they've only lost to England, West Indies. They're yet to play South Africa. But at this point, Abhishek, do you consider them, West Indies, as one of the favorites in this tournament, just by the sheer quality that this team has?
Well, I think favorites was a tag they came in with the kind of cricket they've been playing. I truly believe that this is the best team that we've seen of West Indies since they won the World Cup under the Darren Sammy. They managed to get some good cricketers back. Russell is back in the side. They didn't manage to get Sunil Narayan to play, but you can see that they've got balance between bat and ball. They have power again in that batting. They've got technically correct players. And with someone like a Roman Powell at the helm, I just feel this team is the team that can go the distance. But having said that, this tournament doesn't give you the margin to make errors. You have to be on point all the time, because they're in that strong group of Super 8s where every game is a must-win game. Bar in the US, the other 3 teams are good teams with 1 loss under their belt, and now playing South Africa. I wouldn't say they're favorites, but I would say if they win and they manage to qualify, they'll definitely be favorites going into the knockouts.
But do you feel they have any sort of advantage playing in home conditions, because they know their grounds, they know their pitches, and they've gone in with the strategy. We've seen how they have always opened with Akeal Hussain when they're bowling, so they kind of understand the pitch as well.
Well, I think the toss is going to play a critical factor as well in those conditions. The toss will be a deciding factor as to which team has the upper hand. It's always going to be a 60-40 with the toss in play.
But why doesn't he join us here?
I think he's going to come to another room and come in. So I just feel with the toss being a key factor, I think, like I would say, with South Africa, West Indies, it's even Stevens. The team that wins the toss, it goes 60-40 in their favor.
All right, Ashok Bajim, we have been talking about West Indies, they have a decent, balanced side when it comes to T20s. But why is it the case that they're not up there when it comes to the other formats, say the ODI or the Test cricket format? Why is it that they only have a group of players that are really, really good in one format and not the others?
See, one, they are big hitters. One, they are hugely built guys. It is down there early. They can hit the ball out of the park, miles, they can hit miles. And they got so many of them. Powell, Pooran, Shai Hope, Charles, Dre Russell, who hasn't come good so far. So they got a whole lot of them. If they get going, they're a great side. But God forbid, if the top three fall and the pressure builds on them, then they struggle. That is they're doing. They're a happy-go-lucky side. If the going is good, then they're wonderful. But when the going gets bad, when the going gets tough, then they're not the tough who will get going. So that is my only drawback for them, because mentally, probably they're not as tough as you're supposed to be. When everybody's hitting the ball, all of them hit the ball. But when they start struggling, that is when the bottom falls off West Indies.
Yeah, and we saw that in one of the match against England, where the confidence that you talk about as a group, as a team, and we saw that when they lost that match to England, and that way in a very England won that in a very convincing manner in that particular match. So I totally second that thought, Ashokji. Let's also talk about South Africa, another team that has remained unbeaten, and they have won their matches, especially matches where a previous South Africa side in previous tournaments would have collapsed and lost those matches, but they haven't. They beat England by 7 runs in a clutch match, in a clutch situation. Their bowlers came good. Do you think it is their tournament this time around? Ashokji?
Could be, because they seem to be mentally much tougher than before. They're not collapsing, panicking when things get tough. The way they are winning the matches. Absolutely. It is not that they've beaten England. They even against USA, it was touch and go. They bailed themselves out. Even the first game they played, it was touch and go. So they have been coming out of difficult situations. So their mentality seems to be different now. Maybe it's the captain who's turned things around. Maybe collectively as a unit, they want to win the team. They are good players. They're wonderful players. And then you got people like Rabada, who's a fantastic. Jensen is there. Then Nokia is there. Wonderful cricketers. And not to forget Maharaj, who chips in. They might need Shamsi in the scheme of things instead of Batsman. So all in all, they have all bases covered kind of a team. And if Klaasen gets going or Peacock gets going, then sky is the limit.
The sky is the limit. Do you also feel the same, Abhishek? Is it their tournament this time around?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a tournament, but I would say they're strong contenders for it. I say that because, when your opening pair starts to fire, when, De Kock is scoring runs, he's got 50s in the last 2 games. Especially for me, the bowling unit has come together. Bartman is someone who's played an integral role in their team and given them that cushion. The conditions, I feel, will favor them because they've got the batting, they've got the power as well, but they've got the bowlers, tall bowlers, hit the deck hard bowlers, Rabada, Jansen. I think they kind of complement each other. So they are a team to reckon with. They are a more experienced team, the likes of the Millers, Klaasens, Markrams. They have the experience now in that setup. They've played a lot of franchise cricket together. So I truly believe it's a strong team. But we all know South Africa, when it comes to knockouts, sometimes tend to get knocked out mentally. So we're still in the group stages. I think it'll be important how they play in the knockouts.
And I just want to talk about this one point with respect to the England match. Did South Africa miss the trick by not playing 2 specialist spinners? Because it came down very, very close in that particular match. And there only one specialist spinner. He finished his quota of overs by the 13th over itself. So you only had to rely on the pace bowlers and their skill set to get you back in the game and win you the match. Abhishek, do you feel South Africa missed a trick there and they could have probably won the match more comprehensively?
Well, I think it's interesting because the English players have good numbers against wrist spinners. And what I've noticed is, finger spinners are sometimes the bowlers who trouble them. Having said that, you always want to go with your strength. I believe that they don't really truly believe Shamsi could be that bowler for them, and bowling two spinners in tandem could be harder. They bowl really smartly where the faster bowlers went into the pitch slow, use the longer boundaries. So they have the sort of bowlers who can bowl in those conditions, which always then gives you the surety that you don't necessarily need two spinners. You can resort to your fast bowlers to do the job for you.
Right. Ritinder Paji is also here with us. And just to give you a background, we are yet to talk about India versus Bangladesh. We have been talking about West Indies. We have been talking about South Africa. I just want to get your thought on West Indies. And we have talked about this with Abhishek and Ashok Paji. Ritinder, do you feel West Indies is one of those teams that not a lot of people are talking about, and they're doing what they're doing very calmly under the radar? They're flying right now, and they're probably might just reach the semis, and you never know after that.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, Osama. This team is a force to reckon with. And in this format, they are definitely the team, because they can beat any team on their particular day. They are swashbuckling hitters of a cricket ball. They know how to bowl with this white ball in this format. They have bowlers who can finish up with good Yorkers. So, yes, they are definitely one of the favorites, and you can't rule them out. And yes, and not any team at this stage, because whosoever plays well, who can handle the nerves of a World Cup will be right up there. And West Indies is surely one of them.
Home advantage for the West Indies, looking for them?
Can you come again?
I said, do you feel home advantage is also one of the factors why they're doing so well in this tournament so far?
Yeah, definitely. Home advantage is, Osama, definitely a big thing for West Indies, because if you're playing at home, you know the conditions, you're well versed with lot many things. Like if we as India play in India, we have that much needed home advantage. So they have that, and they are definitely at advantage.
All right. Let's now talk about India versus Bangladesh. That match starts tonight at 8 p.m. Will there be Nagin dance in that particular match? Gentlemen, we don't know. But the big contest in that particular match that we are all looking forward to is Rohit Sharma versus left-arm seamer, certain Mustafizur Rahman. Mustafizur, he has done well in the IPL. He has done well so far for Bangladesh in the World Cup. How are you looking forward to that particular contest? Let's start by asking Abhishek about that.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting. In India, Bangladesh, sometimes Bangladesh can be, a pain in the backside with the way they play against India. They somehow manage to bring their A game. And I've always believed Bangladesh is the type of side that will play that one good game. They play 5 bad games, but they tend to play that one good game. So you just don't want that good game to be against India, because they don't really come with the expectations of winning a tournament, but it's more about being those giant killers and upsetting a team. So do they match up well against India? With their spinners, yes. Do they have their bowling to make it hard for India? Yes. But do they have the batting to challenge India? I don't think so. I don't believe they have the batters to come across and perform well against India, score those runs for their bowlers. They do have a bit of experience in their bowling with Mehdi, Shakib, Mustafizur. You have those likes of bowlers who can trouble the Indian batters, but it's going to be very difficult for them to match up to the current Indian team with the setup they have of 3 left-handers, 4 left-handers in the batting order. I think it's just going to nullify those left-hand spinners through and through.
All right. Ashok Baji, what do you feel?
See, I think Bangladesh for too long has been underdogs. I don't know when they're going to be top dog, because they have been around for 20, 25 years. They are always also right, but they run India close every time. And not to forget the conditions suit their kind of cricket. They play low bounce, they're turning tracks. That is the kind of pitches they have in Bangladesh. It might be they're playing at their home, and in their home, they can be lethal. They can be deadly. And as you talked about Nagin dance, I hope there's no Nagin dance shortly, but you have to be careful, because these are the games where you got to be a bit tentative, and you can't take any can't get complacent, and can't take any team lightly. So I think all in all, because of the conditions, I think they will run India close. If it have been Australia, South Africa, or England, then there's no issues whatsoever. But in West Indies, the kind of wickets there are, the kind of conditions there are, I think they can run India close.
All right, Ritendra Baji, both Abhishek and Ashok Baji did not talk about Rohit Sharma versus Mustafizur. But I want to ask you, is there a contest? Should Rohit Sharma approach Mustafizur differently, considering that he hasn't really had much success against left-arm seam in this particular tournament so far?
Look, Osama, yes, Rohit Sharma hasn't been among runs, and he hasn't been in top-notch form, which we all have been expecting since few days, and we hope that today is the day when Rohit Sharma should hit form. And yes, he has to be careful. When you talk about left-arm seam, he has to be cautious. He's the one who can adapt really well. He understands the conditions so very well. I think if we talk about adaptability, Rohit Sharma has to be number one in the world. You can see him running the show with this masterclass, blazing sixes, and you can see him seeing the ball through, surviving those all important overs, and that is what Rohit Sharma is all about. That is what class is all about. So I hope that today we'll see different Rohit Sharma, because if he fires and if Virat Kohli is among runs, then we are sorted. Then there's no problem whatsoever. And Nagin dance, we can do it here. Abhishek, you can also do it here. Ashok Baji, you can also do it here. But we would not love to see that today happening in the evening in the match today.
You talked about Rohit Sharma, and you also talked about Virat Kohli. Ashok Baji, is it important, and is this the match where both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli need to get those runs before we take on Australia?
Sama, one thing you must understand, that we are not a two-man team. We got Surya Kumar Yadav, who can turn the tide. We got Hardik Pandya. We got Shivam Dube, who can play well. Not to forget, we got Rishabh Pant. So we have a all bases covered team. Even if the top two don't fire, it doesn't really bother us. We have a team which can cover. We can play 20 overs, because it's a shorter format of the game. The intensity you have to keep for 20 overs. So I think we have enough firepower in our ranks. Jadeja is there, Akshar Patel is there. So it's a long batting lineup. So Virat, Rohit, yes. But Virat and Rohit, in which mode they want to play, Virat, how he wants to play, what is his style of play, that'll be very, 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 very difficult, because he's under pressure. Now, because Virat, if he doesn't score at 50, it's a failure for the entire country. But the fact is, he's Virat. He's a Virat player, and we know he can do, when the things get tough, Virat gets going. So I expect him to score runs, because a great player doesn't fail more than 3 innings. So it is the 4th inning, and I think it's time for him to come put.
All right. Also because we as Indians, when it comes to our cricket, when it comes to our cricketers, we are a little greedy, and we want both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to score as many runs at the top. Abhishek, what is that one contest that you're really looking forward to in this particular match? Like I understand and I know that you have said that it's not really a contest between India versus India and Bangladesh, but still, even to international teams going up against each other at a neutral ground, what is that one contest that you think is something that people should do?
Well, I think the one thing, the one player who's always stood up against India or has the capability of threatening India is, for me, always Shakib Al Hasan. He's someone with that experience. He's someone who's played a lot versus India, who's played in India, played in the IPL, has experience versus the Indians. So I always believe big games are about experienced players standing up. And in this game, it's about how Shakib Al Hasan stands up against the Indian batters.
Okay. Finally, let's get your thoughts on a national treasure that we have in our team, Mr. Jasprit Bumrah. And I want to quote Akshar Patel in one of the interviews. He just mentioned that I don't think anyone talks much about Bumrah's bowling, and he's referring to the coaches in the Indian team. He has an idea of what to do and what not to do. Ashok Baji, I mean, even as a coach in the Indian team, in the dressing room, what would you really tell Jasprit Bumrah? Like what?
See, funny part is, Osama, this is a batsman's game. So batsmen are always in limelight. I know we don't talk about bowlers. He's a superstar. Bowlers wins you matches. Batsmen don't win you matches. It's the bowlers who normally win you matches. And Bumrah is winning you matches. Bumrah is probably the best bowler by far in international cricket. You can talk about Cummins, Stark, Shaheen Shah, Afridi, Haris Rauf, whosoever. They're not a patch on him. He's by far, the leaps and bounds, he's ahead of them. Head and shoulder above them. So I don't know why he's not a rock star in India. Why he's not a superstar in India. He goes under the radar. You talk about Rohit Sharma. We talk about Virat Kohli, but we never talk about Bumrah. And he keeps winning you matches. And he's a silent assassin.
Jitendra Baji, you answer that. Why is he not a rock star in Indian team?
Look, we have to make him a rock star. So tomorrow, if India wins the game, and I'm sure they will win, so we'll start the show with first question about Jasprit Bumrah. No Rohit, no Virat. So Shokipa will be answering only on Bumrah, nobody else, and that is what he deserves, because he has been a lethal bowler, a consistent bowler to the core. And we should not forget, he was injured a few months back. And this comeback has been phenomenal. Fingers crossed, if we are winning this World Cup, it has to be definitely our batsman and then Bumrah. He holds the key.
All right. He holds the key, Abhishek. Bumrah holds the key for India.
Who holds the key for India? I think everyone holds the key for India. I think every player today.
When you talk about Jasprit Bumrah, what do you feel?
I think Bumrah is, the less we say, the more it is, because someone who bowls 4 overs, 7 runs, picks up 3 wickets, just tells you the kind of caliber he has in a T20 format, bowling in all 3 phases, bowling in the power play, bowling in the center, then the death, always manages to pick wickets. I think the reason why he's special and the reason why I think he goes under the radar is because your expectations are Bumrah will do it. He never surprises you. You always expect it, and he's always living up to it. So there's no surprise. There's no element of surprise. So someone so consistent, you stop talking about him. So I just feel the consistency of Bumrah is kind of spoiled all of us. We see it and we say, oh, that's just Bumrah doing Bumrah. And that just never changes. The big question is, do you remember Bumrah going for 450? You don't. It's almost like saying we haven't seen Bumrah fail. We've only seen Bumrah succeed. So we've been spoiled by success. And that's just why there's this whole Bumrah mystery around it.
That is absolutely correct. We have been spoiled, especially when it comes to Indian pace bowling, and that boom, Bumrah doing it does time and again, getting us those wickets at crucial times. Gentlemen, we're looking forward to that match, and we're looking forward to some of the contests in that particular match. Hopefully, it's India that comes out on top convincingly. That match starts in just a couple of hours from now. We hope that we go into the Australia match with 2 victories in the bag, and then obviously beat Australia in a World Cup again. I'm pretty sure everyone remembers 19th of November. Let's try and erase that memory a little bit in this particular match coming Monday, and hopefully by winning this one. Thank you, Abhishek, Rhythm Paji, and Ashok Paji for joining us. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.